This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, always a favorite time of year for the old treasurer to show some numbers and try to keep everybody awake. So first, am I getting any feedback on it, or I can kind of hear myself?
That's because your speakers aren't on there.
So I can turn it off.
You can just turn the speakers on.
Oh, okay. Got it.
No, that's my.
Okay. Got it. All right, guys, let's rock and roll here. The first thing we'll do is talk about the 2022 financials. And of course, at the if y'all have any questions, I'll ask the questions at the end. If you have any questions, try to clear them up. And also we will ask for a second and approval of the 2022 financials. So we started off the year with $2,164 in the bank. And we took in revenue. This is revenue from both donations, dues, and sale of the mugs of $997. So that means that for 2022, we had a grand total of $3,162 available. For speakers presenters to us, we paid a grand total of $200. Donations to the food bank, library, food bank, Thomasdale, and Friends of the James. We donated $200. And for incidentals, which is postage, copying, mail and mugs to present, etc., it was $585.25. And that on that line item, we actually went over the budget by $157. And the contributor to that was HostGator. We have to pay $250 to HostGator for our web browsing once every 3 years. So that was a big hit to that particular line item. Long term, many of you probably know, the older members have been here a while, that we donate or we set aside in a separate checking account 20% of the budget for the year for long-term expenditures, such as the computer, video thing, projector. Thank you. So any big expense items for the club, we set aside 20% of the budget. And so this year I will be moving $428 to that long-term account. And
What's the total balance in that long-term account?
the total balance right now is $334.
So it'll be like 700.
Right. Which is a good way to purchasing something if we have to, which is a good thought. And then insurance, liability insurance was $271 this year. And so we spent $1,590, leaving us in our checking account, our normal operating checking account, $1,572. And I highlight that line item because that's going to be our beginning line item on the 2023 budget. Okay. And I'm sorry, Ed, I told you a tale. we got $702 in the long-term account. So we'll have 702 plus 428. So I think put us around $1,200. So we had 35 paid members for 2022. And we had unspent budget money of $814.75 right there. And the way we have it set up in the bylaws is that any unspent budget money we'll use for the beginning of developing the budget for the next year. And you'll see that figure again. We took it at $997. We spent $1,590. So we spent $500, almost $600 more than we took in. But we're still in good shape with $1,572 in the regular checking, plus $702 in our capital account, leaving us with a bottom line at the end of 2022 of $2,274. Are there any questions at all?
Ray?
Yes.
Is this 22 the first time we did a long-term, like a reserve?
It is not. I think we did about, this would be about our third time around, I believe.
Okay.
Other questions? If not, then I asked for a motion to approve the 2022 budget.
I'll make the motion to approve the,
Second.
second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Ray. Next year?
So that's the majority, you say, not all those opposing?
I didn't see any opposition.
Okay. All right, good to go. So next we'll do the 2023 budget. As I mentioned earlier, beginning of the year, we started off with $1,572. So available at the moment before any dues of $1,572. And for his budget items, using our magical percentage distribution for the budget to set it up, which was recommended by Nancy, and I think it works very well. We got $771 for speakers, $154 for donations, $308 for incidentals and postages, etc. $308 for long-term capital, and $271 for liability insurance. We started out with the $814.75 unspent from last year, 2022. We first removed the insurance piece, which is static, and that leaves us with the $997.50 plus the beginning balance or the ending balance to distribute $1,541. So that is it. Any questions on the budget for 2023?
Yeah, just how many paying members?
Well, at the end of the year, we had 35.
35?
Okay. And of course, we have a bylaws for 50.
Yeah, so we've got some room
Yes, we
for new members. So, you know, we like to keep reasonable, you know, to a reasonable size. And a few years ago, we raised that up to 50 members. And we lost a few members last year, which seems to have been a thing with all clubs, not only photo clubs. My wife belongs to a couple of social clubs. They lost a bunch of members this year. I don't know, you know, so. But we can, we've gained a few members, and, you know, Pat and Ron, you know, come in and join. So if you know anybody who you think might enjoy being one of us, please feel free to invite them.
Ray, I have a comment.
Sir,
The speakers go back, we had a much smaller budget years ago, and 50% we really needed. Most of our dues money did go towards speakers, but now we have a much larger budget. Perhaps speakers should be renamed into programs. If we have that much money in that budget, perhaps we can plan something more ambitious and outings or something like that. Or my other suggestion would be that we should allocate less than 50% now that we have a larger budget.
Nancy, this is Ed. I kind of like the idea of probably renaming it to programs, give it a a wider breadth. So rather than just speakers.
Yeah, and that way we could actually have some sort of a big outing if we have that much money allocated.
Yeah.
what, speakers and programs?
Just programs.
Just programs?
So just programs and programs.
Done.
And just one other comment for our newer members. These are budget allocations or suggestions. We're not really restricted tightly to them. And it's based on the income of the previous year.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Any more questions, comments?
Budgets are like hearts, they were made to be broken.
So call for a,
Any questions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the budget.
Second.
all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Good.
Right, who seconded?
I did. Oh, who's
No,
that?
you first did.
I first did.
You first.
I know Roger, when,
Yes. We'll give Roger. We'll blame it all on Roger.
You done, Ray?
I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ray. Ray's been a treasurer for a lot of years. And done a really great job for the club for all those years. So
want
thank you.
to stop there.
He needs to put together very. Okay, good.
When he leaves, it's gonna get cheap chair.
Yeah, let me just mention, let's see, stop sharing.
Into the section now. And we'll come back to the thing, yeah, just back.
Am I doing it?
Yeah, you're okay.
All right. Then. To that end, Nita had suggested that she would get someone to more or less shadow me, and she did. She was fortunate to get Mr. Harold Lanner to shadow me, and I spoke with him at the end of last year, and he said that he would have no problem doing what I do, and that he owned his own business for many years, which he did the same thing for his own business. And so if I'm hit by the Mack truck, those y'all still be in good hands. Just stay out of the road.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Since we just named something from speakers to programs, Sue, our program person, has a few comments.
Okay, I'm gonna coordinate a trip to someplace.
She's got the money now.
We have the money. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sue Baronato, and just want to thank the board for their leadership and the time they gave to us last year. Ed Tepper, our president, Peter Blankman, our vice president, Ray Richardson, our treasurer, our secretary, MJ Mann back there. Richard Paget is our webmaster and will continue. Kemp Davis is our digital master. And Nancy Klein was our program director. And I just want to recap the fabulous year we had. Nancy will be the first to tell you she did not do it all by herself. She, other people helped her, Becky Garrison, MJ, Vicki McCullough, and several of us here. So last January, a year ago, we had our business meeting. February, Alice Wagon, I hope I'm mispronounced her name. She did a presentation on photography as an art form. In March, Robert Pfeiffer did a black and white photography. I helped to do, I presented gradients in Photoshop. Tom Hennessy did a close-up photography, and Peter Blankman did on small towns in Virginia. In May, we had, we did a membership question and answer photography session. Ed Tepper did a presentation on color theory. In June, Frank Mercado did how to see what your camera sees and finding in otherwise unexceptional subjects. July, Kevin Morley presented his experience as a photojournalist at VCU and at the Richmond Times Dispatch, and it was Chuck Kehoe who was instrumental in making that happen. In August, Richard Paget presented some information on digital DSLR versus mirrorless camera, and I think that was when I was sold and I was able to pick up an entry-level mirrorless camera, which is so much lighter to use. September, Bill Draper did photography in the James River Park system. October, Tom Hennessy presented on how to prepare your photos for a public exhibit. Ed helped arrange that. And in November, Frank Mercado did artificial intelligence, an inflection point in art. And also in November, we had our photo exhibit here at the Tuckahoe Library. Thank you, Patricia Munford, for coordinating that. And December, we had a great party. If you missed any of those links or want to review how to do something and some of that fabulous information, it's in it's in our newsletter, it's in the minutes, and Kemp usually sends out the link where you can recap, like how did they do that? So I just wanted to thank everybody, and just to recap what we did. We did get through this whole year. We had a great session, several sessions, and we encourage you to join us and share some of your information and your experience, because just keep in mind that somebody knows something that someone else doesn't. So we want you, please don't wait on ceremony for us to reach out to you. Just come forward. We can all do a presentation that's 20 minutes. I mean, we could go on because there's so much experience here, whether it's your software or what you've encountered in your experience doing documentation and so on. So we encourage you to participate. Let's have another great year and a continuation. And thank you again. Thanks.
Thanks, Sue.
Peter.
Okay, now put on your thinking caps. A couple of weeks ago, the board of directors had a meeting via Zoom. We talked about several issues and questions involving the entire group. I'm going to go through them quickly. The first one, which was solidly rejected, was should we change our meeting time to the evening? Perhaps we might attract a few more young people, young photographers, who are working, can't come here the daytime. That was a universal no. We're staying where we are, doing the same thing. How do we encourage more member participation in meetings? That was another topic. The board discussed asking one member each month to become a featured member. This person would be featured in the newsletter with a paragraph or two Bible, several photographs of his or her favorite subjects, and followed by an expanded version at the next meeting. Again, this is something that we might call more members in and get to know each other a little better. What we like to do is all of these are just suggestions. If you have other suggestions, please let us know. And as Sue just said, don't be afraid to volunteer. Another topic that we discussed, could we try a buddy system during the meeting? A member or members would bring in some of the images that they think could be improved. And we all have those. And while the images are projected, another member with expertise in an area, if you take flower photographs and you think they can be improved, you know who would be here to talk about it. Could provide suggestions from editing tips to software ideas. Could we set up a mentoring program of some kind? Board members would work in the newsletter. Members could send photography questions and other members could respond by email. The answers could be published in the next newsletter and also be discussed at the next meeting. We all have questions. We may be too nervous to ask them in public. I'll send them to MJ in the newsletter. But we all, as Sue said, there's so much expertise here. Somebody has an answer for whatever your questions. Another idea is to have members list their particular skills, and then the list will be available to all members so they can contact that person directly with their questions. Again, you love street photography, know a lot about it. We can set up a list of people and their expertise. And if you've got a question, how do I do it? What kind of equipment do I need, et cetera, et cetera. How do we get more members to go on group outings? Perennial question. When we get one or two or in many cases, nobody except me out there. The board discussed getting together for a monthly meeting, at which time we would socialize and come up with the best group outing. Instead of relying on one person to come up with it, maybe we could just brainstorm. An alternative would be to meet for an occasional Saturday morning breakfast at a diner of our choice, followed by a joint shooting. As we sit there eating our ham and biscuits, we talk about where we might want to go that morning and it's shooting. Could we try joint meetings with different types of clubs? I have this idea from another small club that worked with a group of poets. Local poets society, providing images of poets to create themed works. And it obviously it can be done vice versa. We can solicit better works, and the assignment for us is to come up with photographs that would complement those works. The object, one objective, a show somewhere, in the library here or any. That worked really well. If this other place, because the poets were delighted that somebody was actually paying attention to them, of course. They came up with your various poetry, and the photographers went out, got images. Neat idea.
That was done by, I think last year, the year before, by an art gallery in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
Where they had, I think this was kids from the high school, kids from high school or below who were writing poetry, and they had a call for entries for art where we knew the poetry and asking for art to go along with it. And that really struck me as being something that would be really interesting.
Oh, yeah, that could be great. Both my wife and my daughter had contact with the James River Writers Group. There's lots of stuff out there. I think that's an avenue that could provide a lot for both groups. Another idea was to work with various non-profit groups, like the India Festival, or companion animal rescue groups, and so forth, to help them advertise their programs and services. This is a matter of keeping tabs on what's coming up and seeing, like the India does, comes once a year, wildly colorful, absolutely amazing. You can't go wrong. And I'm sure that they would be more than happy to have us come in, take pictures. They can use them however they want. We can use them however we want. But again, I think a cooperative venture might really work. Should we design a recruitment flyer that we put up in the library, similar places to attract more members? Just a simple flyer that talks about our strengths. It's small, non-competitive, which is, I think, rings a bell with a lot of people. And libraries all over would be happy to use it. And I would suggest that a digital flyer that could be put in the Richmond Photo Meetup Group's Facebook page. So those are some of the thoughts that we had. MJ is going to include them in the minutes of this meeting. So I'm not asking for you to come up with a lot of ideas at the moment, but put your thinking caps on, and if you've got something that you think will work, please let us know. And don't be afraid to volunteer, maybe once a year, to work with somebody else on a project and get it going. Anybody? Pat? Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a great idea, especially connecting with an event. I think that would be great. I know Ed has contacts at the SPCA also, but the football.
I used to do the SPCA. And
yeah.
There's another group that's Rivertown. It's what's an analogy here called Bullets for Purple Hearts, and they train puppies to be service dogs for servicemen, and they would love for us to come. That's what I mean. You've all got pointed. It's funny. There's all that you can work with, and there's even it doesn't even have to be that. I've taken lots of guys to the University of Richmond women's basketball games. Go to the women's because there's only 100 people, and you can stand about here to the court. Nobody gets in your way. You can get a lot of great shots, and I've given them to the athletic department for their use. But so everybody just when you're thinking, yes, if you've got a group that you're a member of or you know about that might benefit, I think it would be a great way for us to not only help, but do interest somebody else in joining us. I mean, those are a few ideas. The idea of collaborating with, let's say, I mean, there's a poetry group called Slam Richmond, which we're doing. They're using Art Space Gallery, every day to do their shows. It would be easy, being a member of Art Space, it would be easy for me to make that contact and see if we want to do something like that. If that's something you want to pursue. Sure. There are several websites Richmond that is upcoming events. And you can find them and just see what's coming up that would be interest as a group outing or as something we can reciprocate with. Put on your thinking caps. Yes, COVID is not on, but I think we can feel comfortable about getting out.
It used to be, I don't know whether it stopped because of the pandemic, but there used to be a group of dance tango.
Oh, yeah.
And the VMA, I don't know if they still do that.
The VFMA every Wednesday has music.
Yeah.
I've gone in the last couple of weeks. The lighting is very bad. I've gone down there for the dance groups.
Yeah.
And what actually the lighting, what you wind up with is a lot of shots, people moving. Yeah. And which is fine.
Yeah.
For the dance. But last week, well, I went the last 2 weeks. The first week I basically trashed everything I got, but last week I actually ran in the group that was there last week was at another event that I coincidentally went to, and they saw me, they recognized me, and you know, they asked me to send them pics, so I sent them a few pics that, which I think they'll use on their Facebook page. But if we arrange something like that in advance, yeah, I think it's much better.
I was just going to mention when you're talking about photography, dancers, Ann Savage, who teaches at John Tyler Community Bright Point, has an exhibit which is next door to Thomas Dale at the Perkinson Center. And her exhibit is called Moving On, and it's really all about dancers throughout the world. And she's, you know, whether they're ballet dancers and there's tango dancers and dancers from Chile or Brazil, all over the world. It's, if you've not been to the Perkinson Center, right next door to Thomas Dale High School, it's fabulous. It's
gorgeous.
It's there until February the 3rd. And one other thing, Peter, I neglected to mention this when I was up there. We also had some great photo shoots or opportunities that Peter tried to get us all to go to. The bonsai tree exhibit at the Lewis Ginter Churchill walking tour with you and Patricia. She practically killed me after 5 o'clock. We stop now. There's Belle Isle Walk to Hollywood Rapids, landings at Richmond Airport, the Science Museum, and others. So I neglected to mention several of those that we did this just in the past year. So,
but those are sort of one of us coming up with an idea about scheduling it and seeing who shows up. I'm thinking it might work better if we have something that is lined up ahead of time, so that if we decide to help out at the India Festival, for example, somebody like me works with them ahead of time and sets it up, and so everybody knows you're welcome. Come, take shots, and you, if you have never been, you won't be able to come. Okay, those are some thoughts. As I said, they will be included as it goes out. And what we're asking for, the board is asking for, is your response, whether you like it or not. As I said, the idea of changing our meeting time was dead on arrival. But if you like any of those, let us know. And if you have other ideas, let us know. It's your thought.
So for us, a young photographer would be somebody who's 65 and
somebody who can walk without a cane. Well, normally walk. Okay, that's all I've got.
Well, these are great ideas, and I'm really looking forward to this year of the year.
Well, it's going to be first we want feedback. It's not enough to say these are good ideas. We want your feedback on what other ideas you might have, what else might work. And we need somebody now and then step up and say, I'll coordinate that. I'll call the Richmond Poetry Group and see if we can work together.
That's going to be the key. The key is going to be for everybody to join, to take a leadership position, you know, one time during the year, or, you know, something like that, and figure out something that we can all do.
Yeah, I'm hoping at the next meeting I can come in with a list of possibilities.
Yeah.
Like Indian festival, such and such, knowledge shelters, the people poetry group, and so forth. And you know, the age-old child of asking for volunteers, and if I don't get any, you need tap on the shoulder.
Volunteer.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I got, and I think we'll move on to photo shoot.
At one point, you mentioned bonsai trees. They're coming back on January 29th for 1 month.
There you go.
Yeah, and I hope they do a better job with backgrounds than they did last year.
Same place.
And then that's the thing, you know, coming up like that. Shoot an email to the group. But I didn't know about that. I had a great time. Just let everybody know. And then 3 or 4 or 5 people indicated interest in doing coordinating.
We're not here in the summer, but we went to the Louis Gator Light and it was dog day tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, photos after five is amazing,
And-
yeah.
You know, it was kind of cute to see a couple of pups have a little dog fight, you know, everything, but then they do it, I heard they do it another time in the summer. We're not here.
They do it every other Thursday night in winter and summer.
In the summer, and that would be a,
It's way gone.
I went to a few of those last year, whatever, you know, and it is a lot of fun. People, I walk up to people and say, hey, can I take a photo of you and your daughter?
Get their email and send it.
And a lot of times I just give a card, say, hey, if you want a copy of it, give me an email. 99% of the people don't. Every now and then somebody gets back to you and says, hey, can I have a
I'd
copy
like
of
to
it?
give a response to that.
Yeah, for one reason, it's not a little card, I need your the contact.
Yeah.
That's not a club under tap. They would love to. Go ahead and take it.
See, that's what I need, is any action, those kinds of ideas, but people come like.
Oh.
And, we will, Sue, and others will work together and try to put together the program. There's a lot of stuff that available that just easily sits by the radar. If you're a member of a group, know something, Tom probably knows whatever's coming up. There's other people who know. Share it so that we can know.
I have a question, it's being new. I don't know about any of these outings, but I take it that most of your things are close to the Richmond area.
Yes.
How far out do you get in your house?
Well, I would tell you, you and Ray would love us to go to the south side. This one lives down at Chesterfield also. So I would say, if you have an idea in an area, let us know. Definitely.
Just let us know what you have.
Okay.
In mind, because there's some all over the place. And just because I like to shoot X, Y, or Z, doesn't mean somebody else wants to do that. All kinds of things going on.
And you should always write share.
And yes, we can write a share. I take it Nancy on any number of shoots that she doesn't like to be remote driving. But so it's doable as long as you're not homesick.
I've assigned myself the Dowager Countess of Grace. Apparently my inner Maggie.
Oh.
Okay, any other comments?
Yeah.
Questions?
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, again, want to emphasize, please bring in your things for, Thomas Dale. And I'll take whatever you have today, and I'll set it up with Jessica over at Thomas Dale, one of the teachers, to deliver it. And along with Bill's check. And also, big deal, Richmond Digital Photo Club travel mugs. Particularly for the new members, I got one on display back there. It keeps your coffee or beverage warm for at least 6 hours. I've tried it. It does.
And what is the cost?
$18. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. Only $18. A mere $18.
A mere
Yeah.
Bargain.
How many do you anticipate in this 2020? I'm just joking.
Yeah. No, they all paid for. We with the club, the way we worked it out, we made a purchase of, I don't forget, I think it was 50 of them. And the cost of the cups were actually paid for early on, the next couple months after the purchase. And so anything we sell now is just additional money for the conference.
Do you have them here?
I got, yes, I do.
I'm I'm always looking for a copy.
And next, by the way, I'll need some more cups. I think I only have one left.
Oh, Ray, I think I have about 12 or 14, I'm not sure, in the closet. So I'll make sure that for the next meeting, some get over to you.
Sounds good.
Just a couple more things. And take the cupcakes out there, look at the, they're gluten free, and they're good. They are good. Take them with you if you want. And David, you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that Becky and I are working on the February newsletter. We're gonna be looking into some improvements in the newsletter, adding sections, different ideas. If you've got any ideas, let us know. But this is where I do my usual groveling. We're still looking for pictures and stories for Best Shot, for Chuck's challenges. If anybody has had something published, a picture published or a story published, we need to know about it. We'd love to know about that. We also have the world that we see with our camera. All of these things are recurring sections in the newsletter, so you can just look at an old newsletter. The theme challenge for this month, I think, was holiday pictures. So I've got a really nice one from John Roach, but I've only got one. So holiday pictures, I'd really appreciate getting some more holiday pictures to put in for the theme challenge. And what is the theme challenge for February? Does anybody know?
Black and white.
Black and white.
You sent out that really nice link to the micro photographs.
That was taken with Anita, but yeah, those really nice photos.
Those are really nice.
Yeah.
I would use that as
Okay.
The other thing that Sue mentioned last year that she ran through the program registration was not done by members, so we got a lot of talent. If you're looking at people stand up for 15 minutes and talk about something or other, please let us know. I mean, I still remember videos on oil and water.
And I never got it. That camera has died. Now I'm not able to do that until I get something else that or if I know how everything goes.
Well, theoretically, he has extra money. Maybe
I wouldn't want to
It's
do
a
that.
programming expense for
Programming.
future presentation.
Oh, and speaking of that, I just want to mention to both the folks present. I've got a lot of checks today for the 2023 dues. We appreciate it. I'm not sure if I got anybody in the audience yet or not, but also the folks on Zoom. Be sure to send your money in for the 2023 dues, $30. You can
only $30.
yeah, only $30. No, I mean, really, that's a great deal for the talent we have here and the flower photography and
Whatever.
everything. I mean, it's a great deal, and the time we meet and everything is only once a month, and we have the photo shoots and so forth. So it's a really good deal.
Okay, let's do some photo share. Where are the
But I
lights?
wanted to say that you can mail it to me also, man. I mean, MJ will have the mail address in the newsletter, my mail address, so you can send it to me by check or online banking. I've gotten some of those as well. So
Okay. Let's look at some photography. And where are the lights? Can we get the lights?
Where are the lights?
Here, it's right.
Right? Send it to Bell.
yeah, well, no, I don't have Zelle set up for the club. I haven't set up for my personal. So no, I don't have it set up for the club. Okay. I probably could set it up. I'll let you know.
What?
I'll look into it through the BBP or the old BBP account,
Bell.
and I'll let you know.
That's beautiful.
These are Tom.
Tom?
Yeah, that was Louis Ginter. I went there for the media preview night, and I like to get to the Garden Fest early while there's still light in the sky. I've taken the same shot later in the evening when the sky is purely black, And it just isn't the same. I think having the light so that you can see the clouds a little bit really helped that to it.
Can you tell us your settings for that?
I think it was 100 ISO F18 for, what does it say there?
400 ISO.
Okay.
F18.
3 seconds?
3 seconds.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a still number.
That way I can do jigsaw puzzles.
And that's also the same evening. There weren't as many lights in the central gardens as there have been in the past. And fountains didn't spray as high as I would like them to. But that's a nice shot there. Try to do that every year. And this was the tree this year. If you were there, that's a 22-foot tall tree that they brought in from Pennsylvania and decorated. And now the thing that they did this year that was really helpful is that they moved the lights. There used to be some bright lights right up above. So if you were having your picture taken in front of the tree, you would get really harsh shadows on your face. They moved the lights way back so that they're shining in. I volunteer there, and I went for 3 nights this year, and I would spend from 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night taking people's pictures in front of the tree with their phones. And there's a lot of people who get their picture taken that way. The pictures were coming out so much better this year because they did a much better job of the lighting. That's also during Garden Fest, exploding butterfly. That's my home tree as a comparison. Not quite the same as the one at Lewis Ginter.
How tall is that?
This was only 20.
Yeah, I think that's about 7.5 feet. Yeah,
It's nice.
and this every year between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I try to take a portrait of my grandson to send out Christmas cards. So that was one of the ones I did this year with his dinosaur sweater on it. You don't see many Christmas dinosaurs, so. And that's him with my wife. So I was able to get a little photo shoot in with them. This is a poinsettia leaf, which is an interesting mixture of green and red. And it's not one of the petals, but one of the leaves. So I thought that was interesting to get the detail on. So for the next one, I put the light behind it. So I was shooting through it, which I thought was interesting.
Like a sheet of paper or?
No, that was actually an umbrella with a strobe behind it. The first one I had just a black cloth behind it, but for this one, this is just converting that one into black and white. But have an umbrella with a strobe that I put behind it, so that the background was just totally blown out.
Your black and white anywhere.
Yeah.
That's it.
Spent some time last month in Southwest Virginia. And I went to, among other things, this place called Burke's Garden, which is a valley high in the mountains. And it's a gorgeous place to visit. I just got to drive through it. It's a nice rainy day, so the light was nice. I need to do a little more exploration of that place. They have these signs up with where all the different people who live there are. There's an Amish community as well, which is part of that valley. And there's a primitive Baptist church as I was driving up there. Grayson Highlands State Park. If you ever want to visit a beautiful part of Virginia, I highly recommend that. There's a shot from, this is also Grayson Highlands. This is on the way to Grayson Highlands. I just like the way the house looked with the clouds. Pastoral scene as I was driving around looking for things to photograph. This is from an overlook by Hungry Mother State Park on Route 16, which is famous among motorcyclists. And that's why it's famous among motorcyclists, because it's like 25 miles of that.
Tail of the dragon. Tail of the dragon.
Tail of the dragon, exactly. You know it.
Yep.
Whitfield to Marion to, I think, Tazewell. As an overlook along 16. It was a little Lutheran church that was up there beside Route 77. One tree. See, stuff in the fog. I still struggle with foggy pictures. They never come out like I see them in my mind, but I keep trying. This is Wayne Henderson. I don't know if anybody's familiar with old-time music and finger-picking guitar, but he's a very well-known guitar maker and player. And I got to spend a couple of afternoons at his shop with him, and it's like a meeting place for all of the bluegrass musicians in the vicinity. He was friends with Doc Watson, used to come and hang out with him. And people come and go, and you can watch him. That's his latest guitar that he made. He manufactures these. Well, there we go. Can you go back one more? Oh. Yeah, you can see the figure on that's evidently among luthiers. It's a famous mahogany tree that it costs $6,000 just to get the back and sides to make a guitar. So he got one of those. You can see he's been playing guitar for a long time. And that's what his fingers look like after 60 years of doing it. He does all that inlay work. He does most of his work with pocket knives. He's got like hundreds of pocket knives. One for every little job that he does. And he sits there and works on it until it is absolutely perfect.
What's this thing sell? The guitars.
Here's the thing. He'll sell you a guitar for $2,000 to $4,000, but you'll have to wait. Some people wait up to 10 years to get it. So if you want to buy one on the secondary market, you'll pay a minimum of $20,000 up to like $15,000 or more, depending on how elaborate and figure it is. So here it is working away in his shop and playing. And he's, you know, you have these people and they say, now he's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Well, it's absolutely true in this case. Just let me hang around the shop with him. He played, it was one.
Leo, did you purposely go and seek him out because you knew he was there, or you were just driving?
I knew he was there. I knew he was there. Thank you.
So this is mine. This is an honor that was at Tuckahoe Creek Park, which is just west of here off of Lauderdale. And I wanted to show you all this picture because I wondered if y'all thought that it was too busy to, anyway, I would appreciate gentle constructive criticism.
We give constructive criticism. I don't know how gentle it's. It's really hard to judge a photo when it's up on that screen.
Yeah.
Because you know the screen just blots it out and whatever. I don't think it's, for me, it's not too busy because I like to see the environment. So
I'm impressed you got the auto.
It was pure luck. It was pure luck. I was there for a long time now.
yeah, that was kind of like in the middle of the day.
It was between 9 and 10 a.m.
Yeah,
That's not good.
that's not too bad. I was just wondering if, you know, maybe bringing down the highlight of the left-hand side.
And I did that some, but I probably need to do more. But
Again, like I said, it's really hard. It's really hard to see something like. I mean, the sharpness on the otter, the way you know the focus is on the otter, with the background being, you know, just a tiny bit, you know, bokeh out right behind them, and then you know the bokeh getting more and more in the background is. To me, I like it.
Hey, Pat, it's Nancy. I really like it, and I know that park very well. We go there quite often. I've only seen the otter twice, and quite far off. But if it were my picture, I would probably crop it. And I always like to do a vignette on these, so kind of bring the eye into it, into the otter.
More, so it's more horizontal.
Yeah, maybe square, and then a little vignette.
Right,
So your eye goes right, you know, very subtle vignette would bring your eye right to the animal.
Okay.
And
Just
and I have a long disagreement. He likes everything, and I like to crop the hell out of stuff.
Well, it's already because it's fairly distant, not as distant as they often are, but so it's already cropped in some, but yeah, I kind of like it cropped a bit more like that. So thank you all.
Good job.
And then this is also mine. This is 2 yellow-bellied sapsuckers, which normally when you see them, they're on a tree digging a little hole to create sap. And these 2 were eating these dark berries, and I can't remember right now what the berries are called, but it's the one that's more vertical down low is a juvenile, and the other one is a male, adult male. And so it was, I like when I get the chance to catch 2 animals together. And my question about this one would be whether you think it would help to darken the shadows in the background, and does it work even though they're not facing each other?
To your second question, I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that at all. The fact that they're both looking in the same direction makes me inquire as to what they might be looking at, and I kind of like that mystery. I'm not a fan in general of having very bright backgrounds. The way that is. But there may be something that you can't really do a whole lot with. Patricia and I say crop it.
Crop it more.
Oh, God, no. Yeah.
Nancy will say vignette.
Well, I was going to say vignette. I think vignette would really help here.
I always vignette, just to a greater or lesser extent.
I think vignette would really help here. I like using a vignette with the circular radial rather than using the vignette tool. Because with the radial filter.
Oh, you can be more subtle.
You can be a lot more subtle and you can spread it out.
Yeah.
I think because if it was fine, I think because of the right, I would crop a little bit more off the left because it's the right of it.
You can also vignette just by a little dodging and burning. So you can really place it as much and as subtle and where you want it.
Yeah.
When I first looked at that shot, I didn't even see the second bird down below because the bright red and the horizontal bird coming out.
The original is actually not quite as bright as over here on the screen. It's not quite as bright as it is up there. There, so it is.
I don't know.
This is a bit brighter. It's a little more
Turn the photo 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You would turn it.
40, make it a square frame, but at a 40 pixel, but the points are vertical.
Yeah.
Hey, what happens if you rotate it?
How would you?
Yes.
Yeah, rotate it so it's, the birds are sitting more horizontal.
Cut that bottom branch off.
Yeah, rotate it.
Rotate it so it's, yeah.
Rotate it to the right, I guess that would be.
No, the other way.
You're going to have to individually rotate it because it's going to 90 degrees every time.
Not that way.
I like that.
Diagonal.
Yeah, I like the diagonal also.
Okay, just a thought.
Yes, good question.
Yeah, well, everybody's got opinion. I appreciate it.
In other words, play with it. Especially with squatting guys who don't know it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bad property.
All right, so my holiday was in Paris, which we went to. We went to in October. And we didn't need to crop that. The baby rotate. But well, it's obviously the art, a lot of these were just, severely curated from 2,499 or something.
Wow.
But just, some shots. I'll go real quick because there are a lot of them. This is typical Paris. Can you just go back one? Typical Paris, people sitting outside. Now, the weather forecast that we were supposed to have was cold and rainy, and we got that. So, couldn't have asked for anything better. Go ahead. This is the inside of the Louvre, Pyramid of the Louvre. And we saw these a lot. Students, this is in the Louvre, students doing their sketching. Saw a lot of that, a lot of students everywhere we went doing sketching. That's the Mona Lisa in the background with the guy giving me the thumbs up. This is from the Eiffel Tower. We couldn't get up to the top because the elevator was broken, so it's like for the third level of the Eiffel Tower. Then it started to get a little dark and the Eiffel Tower lights up. Well, but here's the rotated view. It's like it's rotated in camera.
Needs a vignette.
Yeah, this is Bruges, Belgium. We spent the day in Bruges. It's just, oh God, it's just gorgeous.
Nice fish jumping.
Yeah, if you could read the sign. Free beer, topless bartenders, and false what is it, false advertising. That's all really caught my eye. Go ahead. What would Belgium be without chocolate and beer, but chocolate and waffles? Oh, the waffles went to done. Back in Paris, Moulin Rouge in the Montmartre district. And this is at the top of Montmartre, a little street photo. This is on the Seine River with the tower in the background. This is in a little town of Honfleur. I guess people really needed directions. Again, this is the town of Honfleur. This thing was gorgeous. I had seen this town. It was on some video that I saw before we got there. And the town is just absolutely magnificent, just beautiful town. I really like this picture of Honfleur. Some more of Honfleur. This is at the D-Day Museum in Caen. It's C-A-E-N, but it's not Caen. It's not. There are two towns. It's Caen and this is Caen. They're spelled the same, pronounced differently. I'm not French. Don't ask me. Now this is on the wall in the American Gardens. A tribute to the Bedford Boys. If you know the backstory of the Bedford Boys, Bedford, Virginia, was the town that lost, as a percentage of population, more people than any other town or city in the United States. And there's a gorgeous D-Day memorial in Bedford, and I have a show coming up in June in Bedford.
Absolutely worth the trip over there.
Absolutely, maybe that's what it is.
One high school class graduated 43, and they all went down to enlist. And therefore, since they're all together, they got sent to the same place for basic training, and that's why they had such a large.
Yeah, it was a National Guard group.
Yeah, that's why they had such a large concentration.
Yeah, they were all.
That's why the museum is in Bedford.
Yeah, they were all on the same landing craft in the first wave on Omaha Beach. This American Youth Rising from the Sea is the title of this sculpture. I converted it to black and white because I thought the colors in the background really detracted from the sculpture. We had a memorial service there. My group, tour group, had a memorial service there. It was not a dry eye, and 100 and some odd people there. American Cemetery in Normandy. Now there are, just go back one. There are 10,000 graves in this cemetery. The United States was the only country that gave the relatives of the fallen soldiers the opportunity to either have the bodies shipped back to the United States or buried in Normandy. 2/3 opted to have the body shipped back. There are 10,000 graves there. 30,000 Americans died in this population, along with 10,000 to 12,000 Commonwealth from the UK and 20,000 Germans. Also, it was yeah. Okay. This statue is in Bedford also. This is in right by Omaha Beach, and the statue is also in Bedford. That's Omaha Beach. Now, the invasion of Normandy, the Germans had put up all of these blockades, this metal things, to stop the landing craft. So the idea was to have the invasion at low tide. This is what the boys had to cross. Open beach for 100 yards, whatever it is. And no cover, that's why so many died. This is a street in Bedford and by Omaha Beach. Avenue de Bedford, Virginia, USA. This is my wife holding up the, this is a funny story. I'm sorry I was laughing so hard when I took this picture, but you had to get up on that block, right? Which is actually about 3 feet high, something like that. Well, my wife couldn't get up there. So this group of young kids, they were Hispanic. I don't know what they might have been from Spain, but you know, the whole family, they came, they lifted her up. And I wish I got that shot, but I was laughing too hard. You know, this is something, you know, they put these blocks up there and everybody's, it's just one of the shots that you gotta take. Rumors of war, you know that with the MMA. This is the same guy, Wallace Kingdom. This is at the Musée d'Orsay. We walked in there, I saw this huge thing, it's huge, and it was like, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it was there. There were a few shots of this. Keep going, Coop. It's just absolutely amazing. As, you know, so I circled it, I went around it. And I've got some detailed shots.
And what is the guy leaning over the horse supposed to represent?
It's a different position.
I'm sorry?
The person leaning, not riding the horse only, but.
Is he supposed to be dead? It's not to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is different than Rumors of War. I forget what the title is. I meant to look it up. Some detail shots. This is a a statue that's on the floor. The detail in his work is just absolutely amazing. There's a broader view from of the whole exhibit.
Is that permanent?
I'm sorry? No, it's not a permanent exhibit. I forget how long it's going. But it is in the museum. It was in the museum per se. This is from the Arc de Triomphe at night. My wife and I, we wanted to go up to the top, and we didn't realize that it was open at night. But our hotel was right there, so we were walking by, and we had the museum ticket, so we didn't have to wait online to buy a ticket. And there's an elevator to get up. It's like 900 feet tall or something like that. 900 meters tall, something like the Arc de Triomphe. And you have an option of the person who was taking the ticket said, do you want to ride the elevator? And of course we didn't understand it. But so we walked up the stairs. And I was really happy when my wife stopped to rest because I wasn't going to jump up. It was interesting walking up the stairs because you're walking in a circle. But this is, that was the town.
All right. That's your last one.
Yeah, I think that's the last.
Yeah. All right, these are mine. This is one of the crescents down in Williamsburg. It's another view of it. The row of crescents.
Yeah, where are those?
Williamsburg.
Oh, Williamsburg.
Yeah, and this was one of the guys that was lighting it and keeping them going. They're adding some wood to it, and you can see the sparks flying from it. That's from Agecroft. Another one from Agecroft. This is an older picture. This was, I think, 2018, but the river is frozen there. It was 11 degrees when I took that picture.
Better you than me.
This is from this year. On the river.
On the wall.
Yes, that's from the wall.
What, land did you use?
I guess by 24,105, and this is shot at 35 millimeter. But it's been cropped in. These are Peter's.
Yeah, that's mine. You got an iPhone shot up at probably the NG phone. Don't remember exactly where, but I just like the fish eyes.
Where was this, Peter, in?
I think it was up at the West End NG phone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's obviously coming home from a Thanksgiving trip up north. Again, another iPhone shot, which is why I always say always have your phone with you because you never know what you're going to see. And I just sort of thought that was nice. Made me want to walk right out on the weed. Walking my fish.
Where is that?
That's in Boston.
Okay.
Every year I go down to the Pearl Harbor Day celebration at the War Memorial because you get great stuff and great shots. I like this kid who was preparing to march with, he's got the Pearl flag with the War Memorial names in the background. And he's about to play taps. You ever notice when you go in the science museum once with waiting for you there? Guest services. You ever notice that? This is the pump house. We had a shoot there a couple months ago, and it was not as nice as it once was. It's been cleaned out a lot. They're trying to put it back together, but I just thought that was. It works in black and white. In color, it's not much. Same with the chairs. This was just, I think, a weekend or so ago when we had that terrible, we get fog on the morning. It was down underneath the I-95 overpass. I have no idea what the trailer is doing there. I haven't seen it there before. There were a couple of homeless people living right by it. It's Manchester Bridge.
Where is it? That's that.
It's Manchester Bridge. That's again walking around downtown. That's with I think of 135, and I got a bunch of shots like this. But I love the green trash truck coming in at exactly the right second, running on clean natural gas. And that's what to me makes the shot.
That's all of them.
That it?
That's it. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, again, thank you for coming. We've ended up half an hour short. So if you want to go have some cupcakes, we've got the room for half an hour. Otherwise, we'll see you next month. And please, when MJ sends things out, please respond and give us feedback on ideas. And yes, good.
We have a program next month.
I don't know, that's the program.
I resign. No, it's a work in progress. We'll reach out through an email or through the newsletter soon. So we'll come up with something. We have a lot of different ideas and places to go. We just gotta pull it together.
Well, it's a new administration.
We're on the honeymoon period.
It's still on the 14th ballot, so.
Yeah. But I still think. Anyway, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next month. Remember the black and white stuff.
Set up.